Coach Frye, 1 week in the books, 10 victories at Clemson. It was a great start to the season for you guys. How excited are you about how you performed in that first meet of the year?
You know, you perform like you practice, and the fear is that you don't perform like you practice. These kids have had great practices, and you tell them the process. Follow the process, and you get the result. And many times, fear overcomes that. We think good practice and good habits reduces fear. And so we think that those kids put forth those kind of things. And so the contest, being in the environment at Clemson on that parade day with 80,000 persons and every TV station all night before and then the morning of to go to breakfast, and everybody at breakfast was in orange. And so it's kind of a good feeling to know that under that kind of condition, it was a full arena. I mean, they don't have a lot of seating, but all the persons there were in orange. So it still means our kids performed in an environment, a hostile environment. And so so I'm quite happy that they can step up. And it's early in the year for them to step up in that environment. So they won't run into that environment. But when they do, I think it'll help us out at a conference level.
I know you're happy with all 10 of the victories, 8 individual and 2 on the relay side. But if you were to pick out a couple of those student athletes that were victorious, that really surprised you with their good performance, and that you see big things from in the future of the indoor season, who is it that really stood out to you this past week?
You know, those are two folds in that question. Tanisha Taylor was an outstanding performance. I mean, that 7:30s is always good. It's a big mark. I think there's more there, and so it'll take more. But it's good to see her get going. Last year was a struggle for her, and so I'm excited for her. Mike Welmer was hurt last year. And to open up with a PR, he's got an outdoor PR as big as indoors hasn't been, and so it was a constant. But those are two really good marks. Michael's mark, a few more inches, and I mean if he jumped in 51.9. If he jumps 52 feet, he'll get to the NC2A with that mark. So he's on a good track.
TT in the 200 and Isaiah in the hurdles were both victorious as well, and with times that put them among the best in the nation. What are you expecting out of those two guys going forward?
It's going to take a lot more for Isaiah to get to the NCAA championship. And our goals are all set around the NCAA championship. Scoring at the SEC is good. We're not a big team. We're not a big conference team. We have to have quality individuals that can get to the big show. Being All-American is huge for us, and so Isaiah, he's probably going to have to run in the 70s, 770, 776, 775. Last year, 778 didn't get there, but to open and to get a victory was big because he wasn't that sharp. He was sick during the holidays. And was able to, it was cold early in the week in the tour days, and he still worked his way through that and got there and competed. TT, PR in the 60 meters is big because that sets up his 200 meters, and it gets his confidence going. There's more left there in the 200. That's a very fast track. It's the same track that we're going to get here at Carolina. Ours is going to be a little bit higher, a little bit faster. But that one right there is an excellent facility. So for him to run on that overture and to get around there, that was exciting for him to take that win. Florida State has a great sprint program, and for him to get that win and get second and amidst those guys from Florida State, they always got a great tradition in the sprint area. So it was not just the track; it was the who's, the Johnnies and the Joes. He beat some Johnnies, and that was important.
Both of those guys, in addition to their success on the track, but also officially chalked up 4.0 GPAs last semester, which is something that I know you're every bit as proud, if not more so, of what they did in the classroom as what they did on the track at Clemson and what they're going to do on the track going forward.
You know, academics is our priority. Everyone says that, but our indicators are Amberly Nesbitt, who is a national champion, and also a medical doctor, just came out of school this year after being leaving NC2As a few years ago and going on, and she's in Greenville right now practicing. And, you know, that's 8 years later. So, and then when you look around and you see the Carolina graduates that have been at that level, you know, we talk, we've had pharmacists, and we have doctors, and then we have Aisha Taylor, who's a judge. All of them have competed on a very high level. SEC scores are NCAA champions. And so this is a continuation in the sprint, jumps, and hurdles. We always have great distance runners that make great grades. Our cross-country team leads the country. One year we've been national champion. But sometimes it's undersold on how well our students that run on the track or the sprint, jump, and hurdles and throws areas. Many times people take for granted that those are the students that ride the scores to make the GPAs are made by the students that are more disciplined. And in the case is in the sports of track and field, you have to be a disciplined person from all areas. If you're an excellent, then you have time management skills in this sport. When you're in individual sports, and I'm talking in all sports, if you're a tennis player, you have to take accountability. And so more than not, 90% of the kids do excellent in the classroom. It's the 10% that struggles. But that 10% many times, most of the time, with my history of 40 years of coaching, has not come out of the non-revenue sport area. Because it's not a carrot at the end. You don't get a chance to get drafted and pick up $30 million. In these sports, if you don't get a good degree and go on to postgraduate, kids start recognizing that. So grades are easy to be motivated for them to do well. And I'm so pleased that these two kids made 4.0s. And we expect to see more of those. I mean, we had 14 girls and 4 guys. So I expect more. I mean, this is ordinary for us.
I'll wrap up on this, Coach. Vanderbilt this weekend, an opportunity to see the venue for the SEC Indoor Championships before you actually go there in 6 or 7 weeks. So how important is it to get this look at Vanderbilt's facility, and what do you want to see out of your team this weekend?
You know, getting on a 300-meter track is different than running on bank tracks. You have to really understand how to run into turns. And 200 meters and the 400 meters are big events for us. And the races start in a straightaway. So our kids have to get the feel of doing that to understand it. So the first time in that you do that, you don't want to be at the conference meet on a 300-meter track. So we try to visit each city where during the regular season where the conference meet is going to be held, but so that we can understand how to travel. We try to stay in the same hotel that we're going to stay in at a conference meet. We try to be catered to, our food catered to the meet by the same group. So we try to create some familiarity so that our kids don't have the added anxiety by newness at the conference. So this is a first time for us. That means that we'll have team meetings in the same meeting room such that we can get accustomed to where to walk in the hallway so that somebody don't get lost and create anxiety where I get frustrated and have to deal with someone that's been a lone wolf. And so this is a rehearsal. We go in there to compete, but it's a rehearsal. For the conference meet. Arkansas being there is huge. They'll be there, and they got an outstanding women's mile relay. We get a chance to put some kids together on our mile relay. We didn't run one last week on our women's side, so we got some things that we need to add on with adding Tyler and Precious in to get them their first run.
Should be a lot of fun and another opportunity for you guys to get better. Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks a lot. Look forward to being back here next week.